pleaded guilty to attempt to obstruct justice. He was supposed to be sentenced last week, but his lawyer asked for a postponement. The Star reports that's because the 24-year-old is recovering from a gunshot wound received on June 9th when shots were fired at an outdoor vigil for DeMargio Jenkins, who was killed in downtown Toronto last month. Levinek walked to the hospital with a bullet wound in his abdomen and was arrested and charged a short time later. A second man has also been arrested.
Should have gone out to a rural hospital in northern Manitoba, but they ain't got the same role. Or maybe you don't care, but I don't care.
680 News Time 9.
So, how much bullshit have they told us so far? It's kind of zoomed in and it don't look right. Yeah, some dead girl died. Trinity-Bellwoods police say there's no foul play, but they would like to know who she is. The man that got shot 8 times within seconds of the cops coming in was some bullshit story about, oh, we fired a taser. Yeah, after he was dead, you did. There's no proof of what you fired it at. And you fired rubber bullets again. You could fire 100 rubber bullets in a guy's head. You'll never prove if you did or didn't. You'll never prove a rubber bullet hit a guy in the head. Oh, it'll bruise. It'll bruise. There won't be no bruises because they fired the rubber bullets after the regular ones. Because their gun is here, and the rubber bullets are in a special box locked away for special occasions.
Same thing from the Allen to Keel in the collectors. 2 left lanes are closed here for construction. Only the right lane
it's
open.
Like again, it's very heavy. You really don't want to penetrate.
Instance, you can take the express lanes to avoid that delay. You'll then find a delay as you approach the 427, starting to build here because crews are just starting to block off 2 left lanes for maintenance. So you'll find that delay. And the southbound 427 ramp to westbound 401 is still closed, and that's because of a tractor-trailer rollover that's still being cleaned up. Crews still have quite a bit of work to do. On the eastbound 401, delays still from approaching Dufferin in the express and from Dufferin in the collectors over to the Allen. In the express, 2 right lanes closed. In the collectors, the left lane is blocked off.
You've been up all fucking night, eh? Holy shit,
401 is closed for construction. Then it gets jammed up from Lake Ridge to Brock Street, where 2 left lanes are closed on this side, and only the right lane open, just like the westbound 401. We still have closures off the highways. Richmond Hill, Cardinal Road has just reopened from Avenue to Yonge, so that's no longer a problem. And once again, get through there. Goreway and Morningstar, good area to avoid. We have the intersection closed, and it sounds like this demonstration is moving north along Goreway up towards the train tracks. So again, avoid Goreway and Morningstar in that area.
Again, swear weeks ago, again, some idiot on the Scarborough Bluff, fire rescue guy, oh, it's well signed, everything, but we're asking people to please stay off the blocks. Toss your off. What you gonna do,
getting up to 25 degrees, so it's about 2 degrees warmer than today. We'll also be watching for the risk of showers and thunderstorms, especially to the north in the afternoon. Friday, going to keep us dry, and it's going to be hotter.
Hey, fall in the water, and then we hit them lampreys.
We're down to low 13 degrees, and right now we're sitting at 21 degrees with a few clouds. 680 News Time 9:13.
Details have been released on a reimagined Toronto International Film Festival in September. Here's 680's Irene Prepler taking a look.
While a number of Toronto events have been cancelled because of the pandemic, the red carpet will be rolled out for TIFF this year, but it will be a very different festival because of the pandemic. Organizers say
they got wooden matches, but they look like the paper ones. Oh, there's a little tiny, comes a little tiny point and a little tiny speck of fucking sulfur. Man, you know what I mean? They wet.
Outdoor experiences
bottom from you, stupid. You have different ones or not?
From September 10th to the 19th.
Do you have different? He's screaming at me about money. So you've heard this story before, have you not?
Thanks to the incredible support of RBC, focusing on the heart.
Every 8 months I go into a store to see if he has what I want. He doesn't.
Has a snack food company called
Fuck if he's local Korean, any other damn thing, because there's a Royal Dutch shell. Thank you.
Does that make for good business?
With a brown skin man working there, it's the same minority as far as I'm
concerned. Profit is the only way to go.
There's no debate that consumers today are looking for brands that are socially good, that are doing the right thing, and if they have a choice between 2 brands, they'll buy the one that is on the right side of that.
Download Chatter That Matters wherever you get your podcasts. And thanks again to RBC for your support of Small Business Matters.
This is All News Radio, 680 News. It's clouds, 21 degrees in downtown Toronto. Good evening from the 680 News broadcast.
Evening. All right, I slept all day. Thank you. I was confused.
Mourners who attended a funeral in
9:15.
Park in Mississauga tonight for the funeral of 62-year-old Ijaz Chaudhry, who was shot and killed by field police on Saturday night during a wellness check, have returned to the intersection of Morningstar and Galway, which remains closed for a fourth straight night as family and friends call for justice. And many of those people have now started walking up Galway towards the train tracks.
We're doing this, we're doing that.
Issues in that area. This week's cool temperatures making it a bit easier to sleep at night, but the summer heat and humidity expected to return in time for the weekend. 29 degrees for Friday.
Oh yeah, you're gonna tell us that. Work all day in the heat and I saw it sleep in the cold, shivering and sweating. What does he know about labor, white boy? He's in an air-conditioned room right now.
The complete opposite. Cases continue to skyrocket in over half a dozen states, with over 7,000 new cases today in Florida, around 5,500 in California, 5,500 in Florida,
people to go around and shit.
5,000 in Texas.
Hey, cops are busy. You mouthed off, you mouthed off, you mouthed off. A year goes by, you go, I think you're cool now. I tell you that. I told you I'm gonna get you.
The Hockey Hall of Fame announced its 2020
Unqualified
class of
statement, period.
inductees today. 5 players were named to this year's class: Jerome McGinley, Marian Hossa, Kevin Lowe,
Newfoundland is where Mi'kmaq. Welcome to Mi'kmaq Matters, a podcast about Mi'kmaq people, politics, land, and water. I'm Glenn Wheeler.
You can find this. You can type the word Mi'kmaq.
Support independent Mi'kmaq media. Become a patron at patreon.com/Mi'kmaq Matters. Or if you prefer, you can send us an email transfer at mi'kmaq.matters@gmail.com.
Oh, hey, let's roll the
One
words
of the
together.
great unknowns about Indigenous history on the island of so-called Newfoundland is whether Mi'kmaq are related to the Beothuk people. There is anecdotal evidence that we are. Certainly, the two groups shared the same territory at the same time, and
remember, I'm
people being people, we might expect that there would be relations, including intimate relations, between the two groups.
Yeah, I got a thing for
But oral history is not considered proof in the legal and scientific order that now prevails, and the Beothuk Mi'kmaq link has remained a question mark. Deck.
Under Indigenous law, yes it is. So, since we got $8 million trust funds on the line, we're going to wait.
And truck delivery, as well as curbside pickup.
Oh, he's one of these white, fat fucking Mi'kmaq.
Your home.
Yeah. We're all descended from stuff. Sure we are. How come all y'all are fat and white and round, you know? Tall and lean like a frickin' Scandinavian. Hey, looking like the fucking Norse invaders.
Rest assured, we're also
you don't know what part of the country I came from. You know my boat came from the other side of the ocean. That's all you need to know.
We pay $500 installation
Negroes on there? No, we don't eat Negroes, so we don't pick up no Negroes.
Conditions apply. See website for details.
Y'all got any dogs?
News 918.
A scathing new report from Toronto's ombudsman.
You lied. I'm not playing this fucking show now.
Major issues.
He knows what he just said isn't true. Oh, blood quantum is this and that.
Delays and poor complaint handling are at the heart of the report.
Anecdotal evidence isn't considered evidence by who? Wow. If you believed what he said, you should go listen to it, because everything he says after that's bullshit.
I think it was about 184 in 2015 and up to 449 in 2019.
And the complaints are not insignificant. The report cites an incident where an elderly couple had to repeatedly get their broken fridge fixed while food and medication spoiled.
Until very recently, TCHC really didn't have a robust complaints process at all.
TCH
Okay, are you going through Appliance Canada, or they just sell to you? They don't repair shit.
Through social media, posters, and brochures.
Delivery guys, that's all they do.
Just calls the Solution Center, and the Solution Center representative takes the complaint. They acknowledge the complaint within 24 hours, and they provide a resolution within 7 days.
They gave me this unit with the bad fridge, hoping they would have an excuse to come in here over and over. Oh yeah, because the feds and everybody picked my apartment unit.
It's a
The
very
one that
different
got
end of
killed
school year
himself in
for
or whatever,
graduates.
I
This
think.
afternoon, the
Not sure.
Premier, along with the Education Minister, delivered a message
Put me right across the hall from an
graduation
undercover
done
cop.
for
Now that
also
undercover
this
cop is
surprise
my
for
prisoner.
And to help you have an incredible summer, our high school grads can visit any Ontario park
Oh, he's
free.
a cop. He's a cop. Well, I don't care. He blew crack smoke at my dog till the dog went crazy.
From Mondays to
And
Thursdays.
they called the cops to me and said I hit the dog with a fucking hammer
All
because
you
he's in
have
a
to do
fucking
actually
crack
is just show your student
hallucination.
ID card. So when you go in the park, just show them your card and you'll get in free. Forward to telling grads if you're going through hard times to keep going and never give up.
No.
Stateside in Georgia, 3 men have been charged with felony murder in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery.
Indicted are Travis McMichael, Greg McMichael, and William Bryan Jr. There are 9 counts.
Malice murder, 4 counts of felony murder, and 4 felonies.
The 3 are white. Greg McMichael said he saw Arbery, who was black, running in his neighborhood and suspected he was a
I
burglar.
want to hear
and
white
chased
boy
after
repeating
him.
somebody
Juliet
else's
Holmes
words.
is the Cobb County
Said
District
there you
Attorney.
go. Just don't ever give
Another
up.
positive
No, he
step,
didn't.
another great
It's not
step
goofy.
for
Like you
finding
goofy.
justice for Ahmaud, for finding justice for this family and the community beyond.
Yeah, you're Mr. Unnoticeable.
Arbery
Hey, I'm
attacked his
just Mr.
son
White
before
Guy.
being
White
shot.
teeth.
I'm Ed
The
Donahue.
kids you raped, buddy.
Gone with the Wind is back streaming on HBO Max with a warning now about
What do you do?
how
You
the
would-
film treats slavery.
Weeks after pulling Gone with the Wind because of what it calls, quote, racist depictions.
You've been brave so long, Miss Dollar.
The classic Oscar-winning film now streaming again on HBO Max with a 4-minute
How about the
intro from
sexualization of
TVN
children?
film scholar
Oddly
Catherine
enough,
Stewart
even though my
discussing the
mentally ill
context of
fucking
how
self
the
here is
deals with
just
slavery
spitting
in
out
the
random
South
shit
during
about
the Civil
people I
War.
don't
The
like.
film follows the lead of Mitchell's novel, presenting the antebellum South as a world of grace and beauty without acknowledging the brutalities of the system of chattel slavery upon which this world is based.
And while providing that context, she acknowledges the importance of the film's place in cinema history. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
City News Time 9:21.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Kyle Hawking.
This report brought to you by 407 ETR. We have lots of construction coming in now, but still the same spots where we're seeing the delays. If you're traveling the westbound 401, a jam up from Dixon Road to Brock Street. That's because we have 2 left lanes closed for construction here. And then you'll find it very heavy from the Allen to Keel in the collectors.
Yeah, I want a bitch
Until
to
we have
grab
2
and
left lanes
boxy boy
closed
repeat
again.
that
So in
for
both cases, only the right lane getting through these construction zones. You'll find
Doug
just a
Ford
minor
actually
delay on the
said
West
it.
401 approaching
And
the
he did
427.
what he's saying.
2 left
This
lanes
bocce
closed
boy
here,
ain't
but
done
in this
nothing
case,
but
we
rape
still have
babies
2 right lanes open.
in his white
And the
marks,
west,
you know.
southbound
Oh, well, you're not
427
black.
ramp to
Good enough
westbound
you
401
passed. Well, you're not
is
black.
closed
Good enough
because of
to
an
know.
unrelated
I
issue.
know I'm
It's a
not
tractor
black.
trailer rollover that
I'm
happened
not
about
black.
2 o'clock this
Oh,
afternoon,
not
and
Chinese
crews are still
either.
there cleaning up. So the ramp is closed. They've yet to
Oh, why
put
these
this
dark skin
trailer,
gals and China
down
gals
back
with all
on
the
its
white
wheels,
dudes?
still
Because
on
he
its
ain't
side
in the
over the
fucking
Jersey
spots
area.
where them guys
We
got
have
to.
on the
And it's
eastbound
really what it
401
comes
still
down to.
delays from Dufferin to the Allen, only in the
Answer
collectors now. The
What
left lane here,
Zara?
only the
And
right lane
remember,
open
this
in the
girl don't know
collectors.
fuck all
2
about Africa or
right lanes
black.
are closed in the
As far
express
as
through
she's
the
concerned,
Allen,
she's
but there's no
Austrian.
delay here, so we still have 2 left
You
lanes
know what the
getting
fuck
through.
I'm talking
And
about.
then you'll find the East
You don't
401 jammed
understand
up from
so
Lake Ridge
much
to
about
Broad
race
Street. 2
relations.
left lanes closed here, only the right lane open.
Well,
Same
these
as on
white
the
boys
westbound
see
401.
some strange
In
animal that they
Malton,
can
you'll
have
find
sex
Gorway
with
and
without going to
Morningstar
hell
closed
in
for
the religion that
protest,
they don't
and
admit to
they've,
believe in because
protesters
the
have
Führer
blocked
said
Gorway
religion was
north of
bad.
that point at the rail
Unless you
tracks
believe in him.
between Morningstar and Steele.
It's
So
good.
avoid that entire stretch along Gorway south
Yeah, I
of
just
Steele
like
down
that
towards
last
Morningstar at the
porn,
intersection as well.
genocide, World War II and III, and the Cold War.
Construction at that intersection in Mississauga as well. 407 ETR is helping communities and hospitals with a $5.2 million donation to United Way and GTHA hospitals. Learn more at 407etr.com. Your next report at 9:31 and with the extended forecast, here's Natasha Ransahai.
13 degrees tonight.
It's my
We are
position
going be
to a
partly
person
cloudy.
of
The wind
color.
eases a
They're
little
not
bit.
going
It'll be
to.
back up to 30
You were the person of color,
kilometer-per-hour
stupid.
gusts
You
tomorrow
bought
out
the
of the
fucking
southwest.
animal.
Increasing cloud and
The
25
lifetime
degrees.
commitment and all that shit. Oh,
Storms
but
though to the north. That's in the
you hope so
afternoon.
much.
Friday,
Yeah,
partly
you want a
cloudy
black
at
person to get the
29,
job,
and
and the white
Saturday,
person they're
we're gonna
married to
start
is
off
sit at
with some
home,
rain
right?
for the first
Fucking
half of
piece
the
of
day. I
shit.
think we're going to dry out though through the afternoon.
And how
A
did
little
she
bit
end up with
funnier
him?
though. 28 degrees,
She's
feeling like
surrounded by
35.
white guys.
Tonight we're down to a low of
Period.
13 degrees. And right now we're
Lots
sitting
of
at
Negroes
18
hanging out at the
degrees
tennis
with a
courts,
few
right?
clouds. 6 City News Time 9:24.
Not even in these goddamn parks on
Live
Queen
is
Street.
celebrating. For 30 years, we've asked you to plan ahead.
We're
and
sitting
choose
here
your route,
puffing up blonde
and you
and
have.
playing tennis. We
You've been
fucking
the designated
fuck
driver.
this.
You've taken the bus.
Because you look like you're in the
Take
fucking
over
lunatic
or call
asylum.
home for a safe ride. And you've encouraged your friends to do the same. I'm Ann Leonard, president of Arrive Alive Drive Sober, saying thank you. You've saved lives on our roads. Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive Drive Sober is supported by the Beer Store.
We're here with you
until regular life resumes and after,
giving you everything you need to know.
Stay informed, stay safe. This is 680 News. York Region and Toronto Police warning of a Bitcoin scam by individuals posing as police officers or government workers. York Police say multiple victims have lost thousands of dollars. Victims told their bank accounts or credit cards had been compromised and that all their funds would need to be sent to police through Bitcoin ATMs.
Oh, you stuck to the ashes, bro. That's gotta hurt.
Bitcoin are not regulated by banks or governments and can be shared between people anonymously. Police say the public should know police do not accept money transfers and that they don't engage in tax collections. U.S. President Donald Trump getting
a lot of people don't know that.
Business. President Trump letting
he's got all his legs standing up like he's trying to stand up off the fire. He's already dead.
Elsewhere with retail drugstores and drive-through sites and $11 billion in
Stuck
grants
to the
and paid
ashes.
bills. The Trump administration saying it's part of expanding.
At the end, they all try to lift their feet up.
Federal test sites were never meant to be permanent. All this after
People
the
not know, the
president said he
police.
was not kidding when he said the nation should slow down testing.
Oh, it's because of what the
to show
cops tell
fewer
people in the
cases.
comments. And then everybody's under the wall. The police are required to tell the truth and educate us about the law. No, they're not. There's no role in educating. What are they? Law enforcement. That's it. Oh, well, exactly. Yeah, law enforcement has nothing to do with the law. Anything legal, the judiciary, anything. It's a category of employment. You work in agriculture, they work in law enforcement. They're in the service industry, not the means production.
Visit recordexpress.ca. That's recordexpress.ca for their free document storage and free shredding offers. Simply the best.
They bullshit all the time to people.
Uline's warehouse in Milton is looking for passionate
people. Oh, what the cop said. The cop said. That's why they try to tell me rules. That's why fucking homo there fucking getting in my face. You have the right with this and you have the right with that. I don't give a fuck. Shut the fuck up, because this ain't the United States pussy. You ain't got no fucking business saying these words to me. Grabs me and screams at me. I hate it when people spit in my hair. Bro, what's that got to do with me? They're all fucking gay. They're encouraged to be gay with their partners. Yes, that's why they're all fucked up now. They're in separate cars. They're all fucked up. Oh, you might have sex with the other cop. I'm not supposed to think of it. 12 hours would be nothing, bro. 10 minutes of fucking work every day.
Yeah, Walt Disney World is on pace to start a phased reopening on July 11th. This petition, which has almost 8,000 signatures, says, quote, reopening the theme park is only putting our guests, employees, and families at higher risk for contracting COVID-19.
You don't care about the mammals in the fucking facility that you have not shown can or can't get it. Well, the fish, so they can't get it. Hasn't been proven yet, actually. No, they're not.
Disney has already talked about how it
why China fucking chill out all the frozen fish imports, whatever the fuck it is, because they haven't figured out what the vector is yet, but it's coming from the fish somehow. It's connected to the fish. They don't know if the fish is carrying it, somebody sneezing on the fish. It's called hazard analysis and critical control points.
Absolutely plunged as investors started to grow more and more worried about this uptick in U.S. coronavirus cases. We're seeing not only in Florida, but in Texas and California and Arizona as well. Also pressuring the markets is new data showing Joe Biden 14 points ahead of Trump. Republicans are traditionally viewed by financial markets as being more business friendly. We have the big ass X today.
Well, they're not. You just perpetuated the same myth again. That's why we don't understand why the market's doing what it's doing, because these are the rules that we grew up with. This guy's never invested $1 in his life.
S&P down 2.6%.
He's been working at Rogers for a long time. He's never invested $1 in his life.
BlackBerry, and with earnings, the company reporting a loss of $636 million.
I don't know anybody with any sense that would work for what
Canadian dollar
Rogers.
pulling back by a third of a cent. the loonie at 73.43 cents.
Talking about subcontractors, every fucking cable guy I've met. I met one cable guy with a brain around the year 2003.
I want that glow. Go to tsc.ca.
Yeah, then business took off. I was when business went up.
Is it just fashion and beauty? Home and electronics too. I got Apple AirPods, a Dyson vacuum, and
Trinity, but we're not religious, no.
Right to my door.
West End, yeah. You're fucking working for a Nazi.
Discover today's showstopper offers and today's shopping choice. Shop tsc.ca.
Oh, all the outlets you smashed out of my wall.
I just
want to pay for them.
Customers navigate the fallout from COVID-19.
Well, yeah, if I want to hook up something new now, I can't. Right. I have to replace. Do you know what's inside that wall? Oh, well, it's a wall. So it's just the same as any other wall. Oh, now I got the fucking dust in that wall. I like it. You're worried about me wearing a mask because I'm a dirty nigger and that's just inherent, right?
Proud member of the Humberview Group.
680 News Time, 9:30.
Number one for news in Toronto. This is 680 News.
Here are Scott Burnett and Christine Ritchie.
Good evening. This is Wednesday, June 24th.
Here's what's making news right now.
Hundreds gathered for a public funeral in Malton to remember the life of a 62-year-old man who was gunned down.
A black man who was shot 8 times.
Nothing like a cold beer and a nice
black man, you might consider some black person or black person, but as far as the cops are concerned, he's black.
Community housing under fire after the ombudsman shines a light on a multitude of problems, including a blatant
the fucking guys at the door here.
COVID-19 cases stateside.
I'll kick the door in to break your nose to save your life. You would do that when the RCP already told you, I lay down in front of that door, you're going to kick the door in. What do you think's going to happen? Oh, I don't care. Why'd you send the cop? Oh, the cop that sent the pointed gun at you. Would you like to speak to his division? The whole division? Yeah. Did you not catch that? You thought I missed that. No, I didn't miss that. They tried me. Would you like to speak to his division? There's another word comes after that, right? Division, ... There's words, because division is not part of those words.
Now, and if you normally travel at this time of night, you're no stranger to it.
Oh, yeah, you want him to investigate you? We'll send him to your house right now to investigate. No, he pointed a gun at me, so he doesn't need to come here. No, we'll send him right now.
Open, so very slow. And then another delay from the Allen to Keele in the collectors. 2 left lanes closed here for construction. Only the right lane open and very slow. It's like mirror images. You can still take the express lanes between the Allen and Keele to avoid that collector lane delay. But if you're in Whitby, you may want to detour off the highway because it's quite heavy from Fixon to Brock Street. Further along, the West 401 slows just a bit through the 427. 2 left lanes are closed out for construction here. And the southbound 427 ramp to westbound 401 still closed for tractor-trailer rollover cleanup. Hey, look at that. They just got the trailer back onto its wheels. So that is a huge step forward because now they can tow the trailer away. And then all they have to do is repair a section of the guardrail, and we might get this ramp
away sideways, bro.
Not too long a period of time, hopefully. If you're traveling the eastbound 401, still delays here from Dufferin to the Allen collectors. The left lane closed there for construction. Eastbound Kingston Road ramp to East 401 closed for maintenance. And then it's jammed in Whitby, just like the westbound side. It's heavy from Lake Ridge to Brock Street. 2 left lanes closed for construction. Only the right lane open here. You will find as well off the highways this protest going on in the Goreway and Morningstar area of Malton. So that intersection is closed, and protesters have moved north along Goreway up to the rail tracks. So that stretch is off limits as well. You want to just avoid this whole area if you can. Your next report at 9:41, and with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
13 degrees tonight, partly cloudy skies. So it's going to stay dry through most of the day tomorrow with increasing cloud and 25 degrees. Chance for showers, risk of thunderstorms late in the day, especially across the north. Through the night tonight, we're down to a low of 13 degrees.
Downtown Toronto this hour, we've got partly cloudy skies sitting at 20 degrees. 680 News Time, 9:33.
Happening now in Mississauga this hour, hundreds of protesters gathering at the intersection of Galway and Morningstar for a 4th day of protest, and now walking north from Galway over to nearby railway tracks. The demonstrators demanding justice and
now you're forced to look in each other's eyes, right? That girl might not be a student. Do you know what she looks like with the mask off? No, be very careful.
By Peel police on Father's Day during a wellness check. He suffered from schizophrenia.
680's Madison Fitzpatrick.
It's no different than the fucking bus driver.
Funeral held earlier tonight for Chaudhry.
Yeah, I'll be careful how I phrase it. Not because the people in question won't care. They won't. The Somali to Somali like it's nothing. Not here, generally speaking.
The 62-year-old who suffered from mental health issues was shot and killed by the police on Saturday night during a wellness check. The province's police watchdog is investigating the death. The Chaudhry's nephew says they want a public inquiry.
You're not even a friend of yourself. I
In
can
an
be your friend.
investigation that is conducted by the SIU, which has
Fucking idiot bus driver that damn near broke my back.
police violence and brutality.
Fucking.
And we also demand
I have to go back and look at this shit. It's Valentine's Day. He's mad, muttering to himself about me owing it to him because he's even working. And how I should be saying this or that to him. I haven't spoken a word to him. I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone. And these motherfuckers cussing me out about something he thinks I said about him. He damn near broke my back with the bus. A white shirts by the adjuster. What I said, he asked if I could describe the guy. I said he's Somali. I don't know, it shouldn't matter. I'm from over here, so I know he's Somali. He thinks I'm saying I'm a white guy from Canada. No, I'm a black guy from the West End, so I know Somali. Fucking idiot. That's why I didn't get no money out of that. That is the only reason why. Oddly enough, if it had been a white bus driver,
680 News Time 9:35. Lots of excitement
he's
yesterday
just a
when we
racist
learned
making a
Major League
complaint.
Baseball is coming back.
But their fucking threats on Twitter were real.
Watching closely after reports that some Blue Jays
To the
players
extent that
and
they're trying to
staff
fire
tested
services
positive
and
for
threatening that.
COVID-19.
How fucking these cops will spread rumors like
The Blue Jays would like to hold spring training
we're just
next week,
recommending
but that might not be so possible.
whoever's in charge of actually working the computer, whatever.
Multiple
Tap.
Jays
We don't
players
give a
and staff
fuck.
members have tested positive for COVID-19.
I
Everybody
followed
who was at the
1,600
Denny
police
complex
officers on
received
Twitter.
a test last week after
All of a
we
sudden, they
learned
want
that
my
one
phone
player on the
again
40-man
and
roster
again.
showed up with some symptoms.
No,
There
we
is a
did that
report today
already.
suggesting left-hander Hyunjin Ryu has tested
Well, because
negative.
at that point, it
Spring
could be
training
anybody's
is set to begin
account.
July
Use the
1st
phone
with
to
the
start
season
the
kicking
account.
off on the
Yeah,
23rd
they don't
or the
need to verify
24th.
those a
And
second
Shine
time.
reports it's the Jays' preference that they play their
Even
home
Google
games
uses the
here
same
at
number
Rogers
twice a
Center
year.
when the season does begin. From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, I'm Alex Xero.
680 News Time 9:36. Restaurant patios are the place to be today as Toronto and Peel
Put 'em
Region
back
mark
on
their
like it
first
was
day of
nothing.
stage 2 of reopening.
Well, I
680's
tried the
Kate
second
Lee
time.
was in
Put 'em the
Yorkville
fuck
and
out
joins
of
us
there.
with
Right, you see, I
story
can
and
kill him
reaction.
next time the bus stops. Oh, you don't work on this route no more. Does he work now? Nowhere. Shut you up, pussy hole.
Many restaurants in this
February
area
14th.
and across the city taking appointments only. Others
March.
with limited seating.
It was
It's a mix
February.
of both. I'm at Barry
With this
outside
fucking
another
bus driver
patio
and
in
this fucking
Yorkville.
plainclothes
He
cop.
says he has a safety
By the way, you're
checklist,
plainclothes
and he
cop.
really
You can't
likes what
fucking
some
get your
restaurants are
fucking
doing.
bitch to drive
Place
you.
like
I'll
this
hold
where
it
they have
to you.
plexiglass between the seats. And some of them there outside, they look very attractive.
Yeah,
and
you look
everybody's having a
shocked
good
when you
time.
saw who you hit. It wasn't the same white boy, was it, dummy? You're still dead for that, bro. But I like watching white people die slow of alcoholism. No, I want you to outlive your money, bro.
Told me their eateries are absorbing those costs.
You know why Somalis are so quick to pop off? Survival of the fittest in the jungle. You can't sit there and wait to the side. Do you know the luxury there is of watching your enemy grow old, run out of money, and die slow? That's luxury,
Meantime,
bro.
the city of Brampton has launched the Patio Brampton program in an effort to support local restaurants during the COVID-19 pandemic. Officials say the
What the
initiative
fuck are
will
you
make it
talking
easier
about?
for restaurants and bars
You
to
can set up a
expand their
buffet on the
patios and
fucking
maintain
parking lot
physical
in these
distancing
goddamn
outside.
strip malls.
It will ensure quicker processing of applications and permits and allow for the waiving of fees for sidewalk.
You have to
parking lot,
apply,
and
but there's no
curb lane
fee. Well,
patios
fuck you then.
until January 1st.
You just basically said I don't need to apply. Anybody that didn't know they had to apply in the first place, or that there was a
The
fee.
city is at long last resuming public ferry service to the Toronto Islands.
Why?
McAllister from
Why?
City News
You're
reports.
covered in sewage. Why? There's nothing there anymore.
Continues to reopen
Guess what?
another
You people have been
summer
fighting to keep your houses there. You're in the right, but Mother Nature
on
fucking
Saturday.
won.
Under strict guidelines, of course, the ferries will only operate at 50% capacity. That's to ensure physical distancing. Passengers will be required to wear
You
masks
realize
while on board as
50%
well,
capacity,
and
but
tickets
still,
will only be available online.
Who the
A
fuck is
number of
riding
previously shuttered services would reopen at Toronto Island, including Splash Pads, Franklin Gardens, and the William Mini Maze.
Toronto community housing is under fire after a new report from Toronto's ombudsman. Erica Chief at City News has the details.
A pervasive lack of communication, too many delays, and poor complaint
Why can't you take the fucking airport tunnel or whatever?
A new report by Toronto's ombudsman on the Toronto
These people are so much in the fucking brain, like doing what things their own way. The feds make laws and you cannot do what you're going to do it anyway.
On the delivery of a new air conditioner.
Down in that tunnel.
I feel like they're not really listening to the computers and not really caring about the tenants.
TCH President Kevin Marsh says they're working to better spread the word on the complaints process through social media, posters, and brochures. Marsh says also under consideration is the collection of race-based data for complaints on a voluntary basis.
My mom works for nonprofit housing and fucking what's the tenant rep and everything.
Is to be able to collect that information.
Oh, she could fuck my life up about it. She can't get her own private foot stuff.
That we need to address.
Last fall, they announced
But all he told you have is a hammer. Every fucking problem there, you something you could hit with a hammer.
After trending downwards for more than 6 weeks, parts of the U.S. now reporting a steady surge in new cases of COVID-19. 680's Phil Martino joins us live and tells us Florida continues to be among the states hit hardest by the virus. Phil.
What?
Scott, the U.S.
He just said the United States has been trending downwards for 6
in a
weeks.
single day today with over 36,000 new positives. There were 5,500 in Florida, over 7,100
You didn't go
in
6 weeks
California,
trending
and
downwards.
another
You
5,000
fucking
plus
liar.
in Texas.
Where the
Hospitalizations and
fuck did
caseloads
that
hit
come
new
from?
highs in over half a dozen states. The Director General of the World Health
You gotta be
Organization
careful
says he
complaining to
expects
some
the
of these
world will
places
hit
too,
10
because then they
million
know when
cases of
people are listening.
COVID-19 within the
Don't
next
find a
week.
what, you got hundreds
This
of
is
people
a
listening.
sober
I don't
reminder
know.
that even as we continue research into vaccines and therapeutics, we have an urgent responsibility to do
Thank
everything
you,
we
bro.
can
You're not making nothing
with the
from these
tools we
therapies.
have now to suppress transmission and save lives.
According to the WHO, the virus has yet to peak in the Americas. So far, there have been over 2 million COVID-19 cases confirmed in the US.
Anywhere that way, but in
680
certain linguistic
680 News time
communities.
9:40 now. The 680 News gas
And those
price
people
update
won't
and
buy
the
things.
price
Some
will
people
not
talk like
change
that.
at
This guy
midnight,
didn't
staying
do
at
the research enough to
105.9
find
cents a
that
liter
out. Means he
at
didn't
most
do any
GTA
research at all.
stations.
Fuck yeah.
Canadians are starting to open their doors again.
It looks like it's one tangle, but it's not.
Finance 2020 Nissan Rogue for 2019 cash buyer kicks from as low as 0% up to 84 months. Or get up to 5,000 cash purchase bonus on other select models. Visit choosenissan.ca. Contact your local dealer to find out more. Conditions apply.
680 News time 9:41.
Now with traffic, here is Kyle Hocking.
This report brought to you by Sherwin-Williams.
Oh,
Construction
you're a
is
different white
causing
guy.
delays on the
My
westbound
bad.
401 in
You're
3
not
spots.
Craig Gibbs.
Busy west
Michael
of Dixon
Ranger.
to Brock Street. 2 left
Boy.
lanes are closed
Craig
here.
Gear,
Only the right lane
Kyle
open.
Hocking. Why y'all got these
From the Allen to Keel in the
Gear,
collector lanes only.
Hawkins,
In these
Ranger?
collector lanes,
Like,
2
you
left
guys
lanes
just
are
out
closed.
there,
Only
right?
the right lane open. It can
Watch
take
them
6
all
cars
be
to
the
miss that
fucking
delay.
darkest,
And then the
fucking
west
reddest
401 is busy
mohawk
from
you
west
could
of
talk to me
Dixon
in the
to
world.
approaching the
Perfect
427,
regular
where
ass
2 left
English
lanes are
accents.
closed
All
again
fault.
for construction. In this case, there are still 2 right lanes open. The southbound 427 ramp to westbound 401 is also closed. Not construction here, but a tractor-trailer rollover that happened about 2 o'clock this afternoon. So we have crews on the scene. They now have the trailer back on its wheels, so hopefully there won't be too much more left to do until they can get this cleared out. Now that they've actually removed the trailer from the cement barrier that it was lying on, I don't see much damage to that barrier. There probably is a little bit that needs to be corrected, but not nearly as bad as I feared it might be once they move the trailer. If you're on the eastbound 401, delays here as well. Busy first of all from Dufferin to the Allen in the collectors, where the left lane is blocked and only the right lane opens.
They're calling it MTO. That's all they got some sort of what? Yeah, they got garbage bags and shit on the highway all day today.
2 left lanes closed here for construction.
MTO is calling him saying we can't find it. Can you tell them to look? You look on the cameras and tell your people.
2 left lanes closed here and only the right
MTO
lane
just
open
called
for
us, man. You can see that piece of crap in the fucking highway.
This ongoing protest to the Goreway and Morningstar intersection is closed, and
oh, we don't get to press play. We don't have to play. If I press play,
avoid that whole area as well. Ask Sherwin Williams and save 30%
Welcome
on
to
paints
Big
and stay
Mom
June 19th through 30th. Shop in store or call for curbside pickup. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Your next report at 9:51 and weather forecast here's the Natasha Rams high.
Pretty dry tonight, low humidity, nice and fresh down to 13 degrees by the morning, and we'll have increasing clouds. Southwest winds up to 30 kilometers per hour, not quite as strong as today. Up to 25 degrees, so that's seasonal. Then there's the risk of thunderstorms as we head into the afternoon, especially in the northern GTA. Friday, 29 degrees, partly cloudy skies.
So why does Android? How does Android know the difference between media and streaming media?
Tonight we're heading
All
down to
So
right.
13
many
degrees.
in this
Down around this hour, a few
Now
clouds
saw the
getting
system
cooler,
as the
sitting at
master with
18
the
degrees.
strength.
Similar conditions at
Their
Pearson
case,
Airport,
the
680
news,
Sun
and
944.
A
Jones.
23-year-old man
The
has now been
sacred
rescued from the
remains
Scarborough
was
Rocks
beyond
after
the
seen
man
hanging 100 feet above the water. First responders were called in to assist in the rescue. District Chief of Fire Services Stephen Powell says the man had climbed to the top and hopped a fence.
But stay away from the bluffs. They're not safe. The edges can collapse at any time.
No.
It's clearly signed to stay away. And the reason is it's dangerous. A lot of people think they can just climb them. They get stuck. They put themselves at risk. And they put the rescuers at risk.
And
Wow.
the EMS says
Yeah, yes and no, but
coming up at 9:40, WestJet prepares to lay off thousands more people.
it's a freaking job. It's like, wow, you have
This
to
is
job
680
because people are
Want to
stupid.
discover
So,
this year's most innovative new
buddy,
products?
you're ruining
Visit
the fucking hustle here.
FridayOfTheYear.ca. From the buzziest beauty products and luxe culinary finds to cutting-edge appliances and oh-so-good sweet.
Oh, this to me is no different. You think I'm about to say snip from YTV? Hold on. Hello. You gotta start typing when I make the screen small. Right?
Functionality and packaging. And the products
This
that
is
impress
beyond
are yours
snip.
to
This is
behold
the
at
fucking little blue French computer from way back in the day.
It's built to keep you and your family safe. And every Toyota is sold in a
Tele,
way that
whatever.
keeps you and our staff safe.
Connected to the fax machine French. You guys know what I'm talking about. The French kid solving mysteries. Oh, I'm alright. I'm alive.
And offer remote or contactless service. And right now, you can lease a 2020 Corolla L for $61 weekly for 60 months at 2.69% APR. So if you're in the market for a Toyota, contact your local dealer or visit shoptoyota.ca. We're ready when you are.
All right.
This is All News Radio, 680 News.
It's 18 degrees.
District
with a few
Radio.
clouds.
That's
Good
what it is.
evening from the 680 News
District
Broadcast
9.
Center in downtown Toronto. I'm Christine Ritchie.
I'm Scott Burnett. Here are the top stories right now.
Hundreds of family and friends celebrating the life of 62-year-old Ijaz Chaudhry tonight.
I just know that's some sort of threatening racist reference, and I'm not familiar with it. Since 1811, y'all ever watched the movie?
Interaction with Peel Police
That is
last
the
weekend.
title.
Meantime, a fourth night of protests continuing in
Still haven't said
Mississauga
one
right
word
now
to
at the
me.
intersection of Galway and Morningstar. And
Y'all
spilling
ever
onto
watch the movie? I
nearby
don't know what this
railway
is.
tracks.
Online
The
District
protesters
Radio,
are demanding
WRGW,
reforms,
Washington,
including that the
D.C.
officers who
District
shot
Radio.
Chaudhry be removed from
Yeah,
Peel
on the
Police.
song.
Line up the GTA patios today as people say they're desperate to get outside and enjoy a restaurant.
I hear you right now. Belarus, talk to me. Is there something wrong with my internet radio? Because it says Radio Belarus. This is Porto. Yeah, it sounds right. Okay, I love that, but I can't.
At lunch. Every time the nurses go into the patient's rooms, they repeat these procedures. Even patients who are not in serious condition get around 5 nurses visits each day. So this is done several times a day.
What is?
Even before COVID-19 struck, Taiwan's hospitals had practiced these strict measures.
This is National Public
Nurse
Radio.
Han
It's not
tells me
CRI.
it's because of the painful memories of watching their colleagues infected during the SARS outbreak in 2003 and fearing they too would get the disease.
Yeah, well,
I
said 2002, 2004, some guys. 2003!
A lot of our colleagues, doctors and nurses, came down with the disease and stayed in our isolation ward. So when this epidemic began, we were very alert to the need to help our colleagues stay safe throughout the course of the epidemic. We don't want to repeat the painful lessons of 17 years ago.
Morons.
Taiwanese people have been successful dealing with this epidemic because of that experience.
Nurse Hong is now back at the nursing station, the safe zone, having left behind all his protective gear in the bins inside the isolation ward. He and the other nurses look calm. He admits initially he and his family were worried about him treating COVID-19 patients.
就是因为我是独子，所以我妈妈就是当然会很担心。然后在一开始
Because I'm the only son in my family, my mum, of course, was very worried. Initially, she asked if I really needed to work here. She asked if
data.
Tobacco from the towns such as Nesvish and Slutsk and the surrounding villages. It is interesting that for the first time these Slutsk bells were produced in 1750.
Hold. Stop. Okay. Tap on it.
Silk, golden, and
tap it. It pauses. Let's hit that play pause button. Why would it do that?
Turn from Scott.
Yeah, totally different. Radio voice. Almost a white guy voice. Is a white guy voice. I gotta find the fucking. Tell you what I'm looking for, they'll delete it from the internet.
Was just days away from completing his parole for a previous gun possession case when he was arrested. The 24-year-old was a vigil for rapper Houdini on June 9th, was at a vigil for rapper Houdini on June 9th when unknown gunmen opened fire on the crowd. Toronto police say Levinik was one of several men who allegedly opened fire back at the assailants. Police arrested Levinik after he went to hospital with a gunshot wound to the abdomen. The Toronto Board of Health is set to meet next week to go over some recommendations from the city's medical officer of health, Dr. Eileen. Board of Health Chair Joe Cressy says those experiencing homelessness continue to grapple with daunting circumstances.
Oh, you're safe now. You're safe now. There is no mandatory minimum for the gun crimes. You're not taking a big risk to have the gun crime.
If somebody contracts the virus,
as long as you don't testify whatsoever, the judge can't lie about what you say. Yeah, a white boy whatever got 6 years dead time because the judge, well, since he admitted that he shot them while they were already running away, I'm going to sentence him to this.
And the pandemic causing more layoffs at WestJet. Richard Southern has more.
Well, if there's been an industry harder hit than the airlines, I'd like to see WestJet announcing another 3,300 layoffs as part of what it calls further restructuring.
I keep hearing about
the pandemic, which has devastated the travel industry. WestJet says it's going to consolidate some call centers. It's going to restructure office management, and it's going to outsource some airport operations. And as a result, 3,300 people will lose their jobs. WestJet CEO Ed Sin says the changes were, quote, unavoidable. He also called the COVID situation the, quote, biggest crisis in the history of the
chain strip.
Richard Southern.
Wow. And no matter if you are from there.
Weather together on the ones. Here's Kyle Hawking.
Well, we have maintenance work causing delays if you're traveling to 401. We have westbound 401 volume from Fixon to Broad Street. Two left lanes closed here for construction. Only the right lane's open. In Scarborough, the northbound McAllen ramp to West 401 is in the process of being closed.
Why the government give up and try to keep wrong?
Again, it's two left lanes closed and only the right lane open.
Right.
Slow from west of Dixon to the 427, and two left lanes blocked here, but in this case, two right lanes still available. And then we've got this tractor trailer rollover being cleaned up on the southbound 427 ramp to westbound 401. So that ramp is closed while they work on this. So still some work to do. We have, if you're traveling the eastbound 401, still delayed from Dufferin to the Allen in the collectors. The left lane is blocked, only the right lane open here for this construction. The eastbound Kingston Road ramp to East 401 closed. And then it's slow from Brock Street, from Lake Ridge to Brock Street, where two left lanes are blocked. And from the 418 to east of Holt, where two left lanes are blocked again. If you're traveling the rest of the highways, no other major jam-ups. We have ramp closures on the 407. The eastbound 407 ramps to the north and south 427 are closed. The westbound 407 ramp to southbound 427 also shut down. And you'll find activity along Goreway. The Goreway and Morningstar intersection closed for ongoing protests. And protesters have moved north along Goreway up to the rail tracks and south of Steeles. So avoid that whole area. Your next report at 10:01 and with the extended forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Seasonal temperatures tonight down to 13 degrees. Now it's going to be partly cloudy.
I wonder what they do at
We're going to
5
have
in
a
the
sunny
morning.
start to the day with increasing cloud, 25 degrees all the way with
internet
recent
radio from
thunderstorms
Canada.
mainly the north and west ends of the GTA tomorrow afternoon. Friday partly cloudy and 29. We'll be keeping an eye on the start time for this rain. Right now it looks to start just after midnight Friday night, continuing into the first half of Saturday, and then we'll dry up through the afternoon. It's a little bit windy on Saturday, also a little bit muggy, 28 degrees feeling like 35. Tonight, temperatures dropping to a seasonal low of 13 degrees.
Downtown Toronto right now, 18 degrees and partly cloudy, 19 and cloudy at Pearson Airport.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Walmart.
Now at Walmart, save $1.53 on a tub of Parlor ice cream. Now only $2.44. That's another reason why grocery bills are lower at Walmart.
Coming up at 10 o'clock, the latest on protests over the death of 62-year-old Ijaz Chaudhry continuing for a fourth night in Mississauga. Hundreds of demonstrators gathering at the intersection of Goreway and Morning Star and moving on to nearby railway tracks. Chaudhry, who suffered from schizophrenia, was shot and killed by Peel police during a wellness check on Father's Day. Family and friends celebrated his life at a public funeral.
My bad. That's right. Okay. No, we did the first.
680 News Time, 954.
As far as we know, if we can find a reference to our earlier one, we weren't influenced by it. Much like Regent Park, the oldest projects in North America. So, actually, in 1938, like, oh, well, Jesus, we didn't hear about that until like a couple years ago. No lie. And then it turns out that one's not.
Which means more purchasing power, less risk, lower rates, ongoing lower rates. We can even match your current plan and lower your rates. Compare your standalone plan to our pool plan.
One of the first in North America, or the first in Canada.
Start saving today.
We're here with you
until regular life resumes and after,
giving you everything you need to know.
Stay informed, stay safe. This is
looks nice and new now, but I want it 50 years from now.
55, Toronto's Eaton Centre is open again for in-store shopping, but it looks a little different these days. In preparation for stage 2, the mall is equipped with stations and floor signs signaling one-way direction of foot traffic. Hand sanitizer dispensers are now stationed around the mall, and cleaning procedures have been increased in areas like the food court,
those people with immunocompromised systems. The people who know
Yorkdale and Sherway Gardens were
what happens if the water gets shut off in the mall for 5 minutes?
Coming up
you got 1,000 people walking around that just used the bathroom, didn't wash their hands.
955.
Make the most of what comes next.
Why would you have the alcohol? This is not 1999 now. The shit was a brand new product. Hand sanitizer. What's this? Oh, they're using it in hospitals and stuff. It's not fucking.
So make the most of what comes next with the Scotiabank Ultimate Package. For a limited time, conditions apply.
Oh, my favorite. They put the Purell fucking dispenser and then they fill it with micro sand. Completely illegal.
Here's to the road
it's completely illegal to decant something into something with a different label. You can't put, or what if they put poison in the salt or whatever? Sugar in the salt, salt as well, those aren't harmful. Diabetics.
1.99% and $0 down, including
MSDS is completely illegal.
And shop safely with enhanced safety procedures in all.
Where do they do it the most? At hospitals.
Power of determination. And here's to the road ahead.
It's the same thing. No, it's not. The microscope cracks open my hands and now I'm bleeding. Yeah, now I'm bleeding.
Now the 50 News Business Report.
Yeah, that's a health risk to me. But I have to tell them I'm bleeding now for them to realize it's a health risk to them.
Absolutely.
Oh, and if the world don't listen, how come I bitch about these things on the internet?
Take some places like Florida that saw 5,500 new cases in Texas, where they saw record hospitalizations, more than 7,000 falling ill in California. It's leading
the niggers don't like it when we do this. We're going to do this more.
Reopenings there will be reversed. And rising case counts in China, also suggesting the economic pain could be around for a lot longer. The TSX today fell 270 points, 1 3/4% to 15,294. Base rate's down 8.7% on the year. The Dow fell 710 points here in the Wednesday trade, down 2.7% to 25,445. S&P down 2.6%, and the Nasdaq slid from a record down 222 points.
That's why we have a Premier Minister, the Premier Minister.
3/4%. to $360. Shopify.
Babylon, thank you,
Price for
Russ.
oil tumbled 6% below $38, and that took its toll on Main Street listed
Babylon,
energy stocks. It was the cruise lines and the hotels, though, that really took it on the chin. Norwegian down 12.4%. Wind Resorts
Hey, you
down
should have done like the
11%.
motels and
More
all these
layoffs
others
at
and taken all the
WestJet
homeless.
meantime. The airline announcing another 3,300 employees will be handed pink slips as part of what it's calling a further restructuring amid the pandemic. WestJet says it will consolidate call centers and will outsource some airport operations. WestJet CEO Ed Sims calling the COVID situation, quote, the biggest crisis in the history of aviation. Price for gold, a little bit lower today, down to $1,770, and the Canadian dollar slips a third of a cent to 73.43 cents US. The top stories are next on 680 News.
Johanna has joined the call. Hey guys, how's everyone doing today?
Oh, hey, Johanna. How are you in your backyard? Is that
An outdoor rug from Area Rug Shop? Yes. Isn't it perfect?
I didn't even know there were outdoor rugs.
It really brings my patio together beautifully, and I got it at Area Rug Shop for half price. Andy has joined the call.
Hey, sorry I'm late. Ooh, Johanna, is that an outdoor rug?
For a limited time, all outdoor rugs are 50% off at Area Rug Shop. Showrooms now open 7 days a week. Visit arearugshop.ca.
Special breaking news from Volvo of Oakville. To all European and Japanese luxury brand owners out there, buy, lease or finance any new or demo 2020 Volvo and you will be entitled to $2,500 off and a 2% special rate reduction on select Volvo models this month only. Volvo, the benchmark and pinnacle of automotive safety, design, reliability and trust. Volvo, like no other. Contact volvoofoakville.com.
This is CFTR. The News Watch never stops. 680 News Time is down to the tone. 10 o'clock.
Number one for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News, Toronto.
Here are Scott Burnett and Christine Ritchie.
Good evening. This is Wednesday, June 24th.
Here's what's making news this hour. The public funeral service for Ijaz Chowdhury brought out hundreds, honoring the life of a 62-year-old man who was shot and killed by Peel police over the weekend.
Less than 24 hours after Major League Baseball and players agreed to get the season going, we're hearing reports several Blue Jays players and staff have tested positive for COVID-19.
Plexiglass gloves and a physical distancing. The summer patio experience has been transformed as Toronto enters stage 2. Stateside, while early hotspots like New York and New Jersey have seen COVID-19 cases steadily decrease, the virus is hitting other states like California, Florida, and Texas hard. They're reporting record high numbers.
The Hockey Hall of Fame's 2020 class is announced, and the Jays up to play at Rogers Center. Sports at 15.
Midweek sell-off. Stocks fall as U.S. coronavirus cases spike. The Dow gives back more than 700 business details at 20 cents.
680 News Time, 10:01.
Time for traffic and weather together all at once. First up, the Road Traffic Center. Good evening there, Craig Gear.
Hey, good evening there, Scott and Christine. So we have some delays that there's all construction related. Eastbound 401 through the Allen in the collectors. They're working in both the express and collectors, but the collectors is where we're seeing a delay here as you go through this construction stretch. And then eastbound 401 at Brock Street, it's only a single right lane that's open. We're seeing delays from Lake Ridge once again. And then backed up from the 418 to east of Holt as well, another stretch where you only have a single lane getting by. Westbound 401, delays from west of Thixon through to Brock Street, again, down to a single lane here. We have some ramps that are closed to the northbound McCowan, southbound Avenue ramps to the westbound 401, shut down for maintenance. And then delays from the Allen to Kiel in the collectors. They've got 2 left lanes blocked off here. If you're in the collectors, express is moving okay for the time being. We have on the northbound 400, just a bit of construction at Highway 9 and then 89. No ramps are closed as of yet. Southbound 400, you won't be able to get on from the westbound Finch ramp. That ramp has been closed on the...
On voulait rentrer au Nouveau-Brunswick pour la faire rencontrer puis pour avoir un peu d'aide.
Le secteur touristique profitera aussi de cet assouplissement.
Nadine Robichaud et Sonia Jalbert sont toutes les deux restauratrices.
Ça va aider beaucoup la besogne, en ce temps qu'on n'est pas très occupé maintenant.
Cette annonce-là nous fait très grandement du bien à toute l'équipe parce qu'on a hâte de recommencer nos journées habituelles.
Si tout va bien dans l'est du pays, on pourrait ouvrir les frontières à toutes les autres provinces canadiennes à la mi-juillet. Et pour l'instant, les voyageurs de l'extérieur de l'Atlantique devront continuer de respecter la règle de l'auto-isolement. Ici Rose Saint-Pierre, Radio-Canada, Moncton.
Et le déconfinement se poursuit en Ontario. Depuis ce matin, les Torontois peuvent à nouveau fréquenter notamment les terrasses et les salons de coiffure. La région de Windsor-Essex pourra également passer à la prochaine étape du plan de relance de la province dès demain. Le gouvernement Ford demeure toutefois préoccupé par la propagation de la COVID-19 parmi les travailleurs agricoles saisonniers. Les précisions de Mathieu Simard.
Yeah, genius idea, make it the same top and bottom. The other one's not the same top and bottom, it's the only one that's different.
Les manifestants s'étaient d'ailleurs réunis pour supplier le gouvernement de les laisser avancer. Et puis, Doug Ford est arrivé avec de bonnes nouvelles.
Allowing parts of Windsor-Essex to open.
Le premier ministre a donné le feu vert à la relance dans la région, à l'exception des municipalités de Leamington et Kingsville qui devront encore attendre.
Une bonne décision qui a été prise de cette
Merchandising for populations now top one opportunities for more products and products on international market. Particularities of
pour l'économie locale, la propagation du virus parmi les travailleurs agricoles saisonniers continue de le tracasser.
Mais ça ne règle pas le problème qui est toujours là. Du virus qui se propage à travers les fermes de notre région.
Pour s'attaquer au problème, le gouvernement Ford promet d'augmenter la cadence du dépistage dans les exploitations agricoles. Il offrira aussi des indemnités aux travailleurs qui devront se mettre en quarantaine, un incitatif pour qu'ils acceptent de passer un test.
I want to send a clear message to the temporary workers.
Le premier ministre a aussi promis qu'aucun travailleur saisonnier ne perdra son emploi en raison de la COVID-19. Ici Mathieu Simard, Radio-Canada.
Par ailleurs, la COVID-19 s'invite chez les Blue Jays de Toronto. La presse canadienne rapporte que des joueurs et des membres du personnel de l'équipe de baseball majeure ont récemment contracté la maladie. L'organisation n'a pas confirmé ces informations.
Or how long it would take for the aviation activity to rebound.
The founder of the fitness company CrossFit is selling his firm following intense criticism of comments he made about the death of George Floyd. Greg Glassman stepped down as CEO 2 weeks ago as affiliated gyms, athletes, and sportswear brands cut ties with the business thought to be worth billions of dollars.
Market. The Belarusian Exchange sells a range of metal, forestry, and agricultural products, industrial and consumer goods.
Social life.
Social life.
Now to some other matters. Belarus and the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development have signed a €100 million loan agreement to implement a project to upgrade Belarus's higher education. The agreement was signed by Belarus Education Minister Igor Karpenko and Alex Kramer, World Bank Acting Country Manager for Belarus, Moldova and Ukraine, head of the World Bank's country office in Belarus. Under the agreement, Belarus will receive a €100 million loan over 2020-2025. The funds will be used to create a modern education environment in higher education institutions, introduce innovative approaches and technologies in teaching, stimulate the transformation of process and administration, and ensure high-quality education. Plans are also in place to set up an interdisciplinary research center at Belarus State University, featuring 37 training laboratories and 9 collective use facilities. The project also provides for upgrading more than 60 training research laboratories, overhauling some university buildings, creating the necessary infrastructure for the new laboratories, and improving energy efficiency.
Newscast of Radio Belarus, Science and Culture.
Large-scale restoration work is being completed in the Brest Hero Fortress Memorial Complex. It's been going on for 3 years with the financial support of the Union State of Belarus and Russia. Restoration of the ruins of the White Palace, the Engineering Department, the Hall Gate, and the barracks took place. Also, work was carried out at the facilities of the East Fort, and the exposition will be opened for visitors says the head of the Permanent Committee of the Union State in Minsk, Mariana Shchotkina.
С 2018 по 2020 год шла реализация большого проекта.
This large-scale project has been in the works throughout 2018 to 2020. It's funded by the Union State to the tune of about 300 million Russian rubles to be spent to overhaul, conserve and set up museum infrastructure in the Brest fortress. Work is now complete. The eastern fort is ready for an official opening, which is in the pipelines. The fort itself has a very unique and interesting history. It was built a long time ago, over 1864-69. It also went down in history thanks to the fact that from June 22nd to 29th, 1941, this was a standalone pocket of resistance to the Nazi troops. It was a very well-organized unit with its own defense HQ. They had communication between their units, went on reconnaissance missions, had a field hospital there too. All of this will be reflected in the 7 exhibition halls that are now ready for the first visitors.
Будет показано на 7 экспозициях, которые сегодня уже готовы в State.
Newscast of radio even in those books published after the war.
The 2020 IHF Extraordinary Congress confirmed the dates of the 2021 World Championship, which will be held in Belarus and Latvia. The 2021 Ice Hockey World Championship will be running in Minsk and Riga from 21st of May through the 6th of June. This decision has been taken in order to adjust to a later start of the leagues in Europe and North America. The game schedule and information on the ticket sale will be announced at a later date. The 2020 IHF Ice Hockey World Championship, which was due to take place in Switzerland this May, was cancelled due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Radio Belarus. The news review.
Somebody has to fucking make this.
Dear listeners, we'd like to inform you that
I bet all these guys are in the same Facebook
channel
group.
Belarus 24 invites the audience to watch its programs.
Guys
You will find all
jingles
information
for
about the programs of the Belarus 24 channel on the internet site, belarus24.by. And that was all news we had for now. You've been listening to the daily news review at Radio Belarus.
This guy's not speaking good English. I understand perfectly.
And information provided by Belta News Agency, as well as other sources. Stay with us.
The well's over there. Don't piss on
Belarus World Heritage, Belavezhskaya Pushcha, Belavezha Forest.
Canadian military technology, right?
Belavezhskaya Pushcha National Park spreads across two countries, Belarus and Poland. This is the largest remnant of the old-growth forest that used to cover the territory of Europe at the very dawn of history.
That's some Robin Hood shit. These guys get the left channel slightly more. Just slightly.
Belavezhskaya Pushcha is also one of the world's first nature reserves. It has been known since as far back as 15th century. Some of the trees growing here are over 500 years old. The forests, oaks and pines are towering above at as high as 50 meters. Belavezhskaya Pushcha is a home for hundreds of various plants and herbs, thousands of animal species. The national park takes pride in the world's largest population of European bisons. These majestic creatures are often regarded as the symbol of Belarus. Thanks to the bisons, Belavezhskaya Pushcha is known as an international destination for scientific, discovery, and green tourism.
You guys got to figure out this, what track titles here to put across.
People from various countries come here to rejoice in the unique splendor and power of nature. And yes, Belavezhskaya Pushcha is not just a primeval forest. It is a land poeticized by many of art, a place where history was made.
So I got this little running list in my head of things that I was going to say and I stopped. Oh, Philip Champagne.
If you decide to visit the park, you can stay at an old manor that once belonged to a count, or check in at the Display Hotel, the very venue that saw the rise of a new era for the excited reformers. And during winter holidays, why not pay a visit to the nearby cottage of Old Father Cross?
You have steam needed fucking roads, guy, coming otherwise. If you ain't got District T, I ain't coming. Francois Philippe Champagne used to live in London, Ontario. There's a Bank of China. I assume, yeah.
In 1992, Belgorodska Pusha was inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List. We invite you to enjoy this unique miracle of nature.
The Bank of China is a bank. Oh, it's a state-owned enterprise. Yeah, well, in China, up until very recently, everything was a state-owned enterprise. So that's not unusual there. They sort of see here we have Ontario Power Generation, where they sold off a portion of a public utility. That's not the same thing. That's not the same thing. In China, it's normal for something to be a state-owned enterprise. You got it says 2 residential mortgages, not unusual. And to my understanding, before he got elected, they said 2015, he declared them to the Ethics Commission. They said there was nothing wrong with it. He's since paid them off, or refinanced or whatever, but he doesn't owe the Bank of China anything. And he doesn't live in London anymore, so it makes sense. And he refinanced or owes the money. He now owes money to a Canadian bank. So they don't want to hear, oh, he paid it off. They want to hear, oh, good, you owe money to a Canadian bank. So that's Francois Philippe Champagne's big, huge controversy this morning, and it blew over by like 10 a.m., I bet. You didn't even tell us how much money it was. I don't want to tell us that. Uh-oh. Oh, okay, wait. I wasn't sure what we were listening to.
You mentioned it was being shown live, but there was this slight delay in case something bad did happen. I rewatched it for this interview. It's kind of horrifying to watch. Would it be fair to say that there was a bit of a backlash after you did it?
There was all sorts of backlashes, yeah. It ranged from, it was all fake, he was using blank bullets, through to, this is disgusting, why is this stuff on TV?
As you did more magic and you did hone your craft, did it spill over at all into your private life? I mean, have you ever used mind control techniques on someone?
It's still Belarus right there, fucking milk the cows, right? Sports. Okay, my timing's bad. And I left the other thing on the make my thing. Oh shit, is that gonna work with that or that? How come this Windows button don't do nothing? You purposely don't recognize the Windows
just before
button.
the lockdown. 200 years after they were used for Rabbi William Cormac. Navisabasat and Amazabut will make it back to their territory in the central part
like
of
seriously, decide if you fucking do or not do it. This half-ass shit.
The history of the authentic is wrapped in a mystery.
You've turned it on and off 4 times. I turned it off once. I turned the volume down.
Mostly because of violence committed by